Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the New Artist Spotlight podcast. I'm Wilco Wilkes, and not joined by Origin Cross this time. He's currently moving thousands of miles all the way across America. So, understandably, he's got a lot on his plate. But thanks for joining us for another episode as we interview some of the best emerging artists from around the globe. Everyone in the New Artist Spotlight community is part of this podcast. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate everything that you do. And we love to hear from you as well. So if you've got any questions or comments, anything like that, please feel free to DM me or email me. Same with Origin Cross. And as always, remember to get on the website, look at newartistspotlight.org for some of the best playlists in the world. Loads of good indie music that you'll discover on there. News, reviews, content, all sorts. So don't miss out. So today's guest is a very exciting one. I'm looking forward to speaking to this guy. He's a legend of New Artist Spotlight community from the land of Down Under, the land that gave us Carl Kennedy and Poisonous Frogs, probably.
Yeah. Merv Hughes.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, Rod Fritz. How are you doing?
Hey, Wilco. Good, man. It's great. It's great to finally meet you, Finally, put the face behind the name sort of thing.
Yeah, likewise, man.
Yeah, really nice, really nice.
Sent a few messages between ourselves over the last year or so, haven't we? Back and forth. So I feel like I've known you for a long time, even though we've not met.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know you, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, about the music?
Yeah, basically, look, I'm just a singer-songwriter, I guess. I really enjoy playing music and writing songs. I've been doing it for a fair while now. I started a bit late. I got into it in my early 20s. It was a funny story, actually. I was actually unemployed for a little while. And a friend of mine, he was a roadie for this cover band. And essentially he couldn't do it anymore, so I jumped in and was the roadie for a while. I saw this one gig in Launceston and saw this guy playing saxophone. And I just fell in love with saxophone. I thought, that's me. That's what I want to do. So I pretty much did that for about 4 or 5 years. The usual thing. Had a band and went through the ups and downs. But long story short, picked up the guitar after that and just started writing songs. So,
that's awesome. Do you still play a bit of sax? Because I was wondering about that.
I don't actually.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't picked up a saxophone in 20 years or so.
What changed? How come? You just preferred the guitar in the end, or?
The sax is a bit limiting insofar as it's a solo instrument. It's a nice instrument, but it's essentially a solo instrument. You can't sing along to it.
Yeah,
you can't really jam out on your own. So once I started picking up the guitar and playing the guitar, I just found, wow, this is great. I can sing along to it. I can play chords and all sorts of things. So the guitar.
Did you have any like music theory and stuff in between, like before that? Or have you just like kind of learned it from scratch? Because I'd love to play guitar, but every time I've tried, it's like it's going to take a lot of hours to get anywhere near good enough. Yeah, especially if I'm trying to sing at the same time.
Yeah. No, I didn't have any theory whatsoever. So I pretty much picked up a book with the pictures of the chords, like Cat Stevens' Father and Son with G, D, and C or whatever, knocking on heaven's door, and pretty much just learned it that way. I pretty much went straight into writing songs, so I didn't learn a great deal of covers or anything like that. I just kind of learned the chords and learned a few songs and then started writing my own. It was a pretty quick sort of process, really.
That's cool, man. Putting your own spin on it. I like it. So what about before then? So right back to the beginning, when you were a kid, what does young Rod listen to? What's his musical influences?
Geez, I grew up in the 80s.
Wasn't that long ago, man?
Cyndi Lauper. Right. Elton John, Cyndi Lauper, In Excess, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Will Joy said In Excess last week as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm surprised at how popular they are.
Yeah, back in the day where you'd tape the radio station, So the radio station every Sunday night would play the top 20 or top 100 or whatever. And you'd sit there with the tape recorder and he'd record. So you could listen to it for the whole week. That was kind of like the entertainment back then, prior to the internet and all of that sort of jazz.
That was just being phased out when I was a kid. CDs were just coming in, but I did get the back end of cassette tape in the radios and stuff like that.
Yeah. I remember when Walkman came out, it was woohoo! Walkman.
Yeah, amazing.
Like the latest.
Yeah. So I remember when I was about 13, I got my first CD player, and it was like, like one of the things you put a CD in, and it said it was portable, but it was so heavy as well. I had to put it in my hoodie pocket and put headphones in and take it to school. I do remember that was amazing. The first time I ever sort of walked out with headphones, listening to my favourite tunes.
Yeah,
I thought that was epic. That wasn't something I've been able to do before. Yeah, amazing.
Music all of a sudden. Yeah.
So tell us about New Artist Spotlight then, because you've been a member for longer than I have, and quite an active member as well. So how did you get involved, and what's your sort of thoughts on it?
Pretty much I just stumbled across it. It was just something I saw. I was doing a little bit of research about how to gain some Spotify followers and Spotify streams. The whole Spotify game is a pretty hard game to get into. So I pretty much just stumbled across New Artist Spotlight, and instantly I saw the potential in it. Not only, you've got a group of artists working all working toward the same goal, and it's not just about Spotify. It's about the social media marketing and everything like that. So I saw the potential in this, and for me, I kind of thought, this is going to be a base for me. This is essentially it's a base stats. So let's say you're pitching your music to a Spotify playlist, and and it used to be like my thing would tick along and I'd have 3 listeners. Mm-hmm. 2 of those would be me because I'd have my own songs on repeat. Yeah. So all of a sudden, I joined New Artist Spotlight, and I found, hey, I've got a couple of 100 monthly listeners. It then went up to a couple of 1,000 monthly listeners, and for me, it gave me a little bit of clout insofar as I would approach a Spotify list curator, and essentially, hey man, there's 5,000 monthly listeners, people listening to my music, and they would view that. I guess you've just got that little bit more clout behind you. Let's say, yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea, man. Do you still do that then? Because I noticed you're on about 7,000 monthly listeners. I'm on about 900, something like that, floating around there. But it's gradually increasing over time. But 7,000 seems a long way off. So are you still doing that? Like contacting curators and saying, look.
Absolutely, all the time. Like I said, Spotify, New Artist Spotlight is the base, and it's the basis of all stats. But to market, you've got to market yourself further.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
As good as NAS is, it's limited to the group of people that, look, let's face it, we're musicians. Now, promoting your music to musicians is probably the worst thing you're going to do, because it's like selling ice to the Eskimos. Seriously, everyone's trying to.
I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest. I don't know if I agree with that, because.
Okay. We all love each other's music and stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's it. It's maybe not quite like selling ice to the Eskimos. You've got people who love music there, because there's people. Yes. There's a lot of people who just aren't even interested in music. So I think it's good, because I've discovered a lot of artists on there as well that I listen to myself, such as yourself, and a lot of other people have wormed their way onto my main playlists. And
yeah.
So,
but essentially, as artists, we've got to get out to the general public.
Yeah.
That's really the number one game. So we've got NAS, and it's a great group of people. And like you said, me too. I've made some great friends, people who I write to regularly. I really enjoy interacting with the folks on NAS.
Yeah, me too.
So it's when I say it's a base, it's more than just a base.
Yeah,
because of exactly that reason. Because of the friendships that develop. Everyone's in there to support each other. So I've got a new release coming out tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, so I kind of put it to the group and said, hey, I'd like a few pre-saves, and so it's more than just about Spotify streaming. It's really it's a community.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Who's your best NAS friend?
Oh, I don't want to say. They're all good people.
Yeah.
You are right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I ride a lot with JHM. I guess we're in the same. We have the same interests in NAS in as far as moderation goes. So we communicate quite a lot anyway.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I messaged Charles.
If I had to pick a favourite,
back and forth.
Yeah, he's a top guy too.
Yeah, he's a great lad. Yeah,
I like talking to Charles. Yeah, but everyone's cool.
Hopefully, one day I'll meet him actually, because he's only sort of 300 miles away or something. Maybe not.
Yeah, rightio. Yeah, I'm hoping at some stage I'll get to the UK and actually, come and meet some of you guys too.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Yeah, I'd come and see you, or let me support you.
Yeah, or the other way around.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been listening to any of the podcasts previously, but me and Origin have been saying to everyone that we need to do some sort of rap mashup collaboration. So we'll have to get you involved as well, Rod.
Yeah, we'd love to do something like that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
We are the world type.
Yeah. So if you're happy to sort of talk about your personal life a little bit.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Because I listened to the podcast. You were on here previously once, weren't you, when Plummy was the host? And
That's
you were
right.
talking about how you were due to be a father.
Yes.
So what's an update?
Okay, he's almost 12 weeks old. So
right,
Tuesday,
amazing.
He's 12 weeks old. He's awesome. He's an awesome kid, I mean, I don't know. Never been so happy about, like someone taking a dump or farting.
Yeah.
It's like the kid farts and it's, oh, that's really great. Or I'll ring the missus and say, oh, did he do a crap today?
Yeah.
But no, it's great. It's really a great thing. Yeah,
I can imagine, mate. I know. Was this your first child or?
First child.
Right.
Yeah,
amazing.
My first. To be honest, I've kind of travelled around the world, played a lot of music, partied pretty hard. I've kind of done everything that I wanted to do. So whilst I'm a little bit old to be starting to making babies, for me it's just the perfect time, because I'm right at that stage where, I kind of feel like I want a bit of a new adventure, and I guess, I don't drink much anymore, so I'm not that much into the party scene, which is quite a good thing, really, because used to go to gigs and sort of, half the reason of going to the gigs was to have a few drinks and have a bit of fun. But now it's kind of like, let's go and do the gig and we'll drink water. Afterwards, I'll have a beer and we'll focus on the music a little bit more.
Yeah.
I guess the partying aspect is slowing down. So it's the perfect time for me to really.
Yeah, you've got that maturity built up now as well. I'm sure you've learned plenty of lessons over the years that will stand you in good stead as a father now. So, yeah, that's nice, man. I like to hear that. And you've still got the girl in Berlin as well.
Yeah, southern Germany, so not Berlin, but
not Berlin.
Germany.
Right. Okay. Whereabouts in Germany you are?
It's a little town called Biberach, which is about 6 hours south of Berlin,
right,
and about an hour north from Switzerland. So it's pretty much in the south of Germany.
It sounds like a classy place.
It's nice, It's a little town, but it's kind of nice. It's reasonably central for what I'm doing with gigging around this area, and I'll travel all over Europe, but for me, it's a nice little central location. I don't know. I do miss the big cities. I lived in Melbourne and Sydney and Brisbane, and been to Los Angeles several times, and New York. But having said that, I don't know if I'd really want to live in Los Angeles or New York. Great to go and visit.
No, me neither. I've never been a big city man.
Yeah,
I prefer somewhere a bit quieter, a bit.
Yeah.
The pace of life is better. You seem like quite a chilled out guy.
Yeah. Melbourne was great, because you could play music every night. you just go to rock up somewhere, play an open mic, or you know, once again, it was that partying aspect. Every night you could go out and do something and meet the guys at the pub and play some music and have some fun. But I guess that comes to, you know, truthfully, the hangovers are just too bad these days.
Yeah, I know, mate. I've been struggling with that today, to be honest. I was out last night.
You know, 3 or 4 beers and it's like, oh, dude.
Yeah, it's not worth it anymore, is it? Like,
it's hard. Yeah.
Next day is just a complete write-off. Like,
yeah.
Sure, I used to be able to bounce back a lot quicker. So you've played loads of live shows, haven't you? You've played over the years. Now, for myself, I'm getting to the point. My main aim when I started this was to do live sets, and I'm getting to the point now where I've got enough of a set. So I'm starting to do it. So how many gigs do you reckon you've played over the years?
Oh, geez, I wouldn't know.
Over 1,000?
I think, yeah, more like, yeah. I think while I was in Germany the last 4 years, I was pretty much doing 2 shows a week.
Right. Amazing.
So what's that? 50, 100 shows. Yeah. I did a season in St. Anton as well, a ski resort where I played 5 nights a week.
Nice.
That's a unique experience as well. If you're ever nervous about doing gigs, or if you're struggling to sing, you just do it 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
After a month, you don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah. I remember you saying that. Like, you said something about it's just second nature to you now.
Absolutely. That was probably one of the best things I ever did. Was really like I don't know, maybe a cruise ship gig or a winter season gig where you're doing really 5-6 nights a week.
Right.
Because at the end of the day,
do you still appreciate it though when you're up on stage, or are you just kind of like going through the motions as if it's work?
I love it. I played the gig last night in front of 15, 20 people. You know, really tiny little venue. It was kind of like it was a singer-songwriter night, so an extended open mic, you could say. I saw a newsletter about it, and I thought, you know what, I can sit at home, or I can go and play this thing. I love it. I just love playing the guitar and singing. It doesn't matter how many people, whether it's in front of 1,000 people or whether it's in front of 20 people, or whether it's around a barbecue fire. You know. Yeah. I just love it, and every time it's like I'm kind of doing it for the first time. You know. It's
how much time do you spend like playing guitar and singing
at home? I'm actually really lazy. I'm really lazy. Not nearly as much as I should be doing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, mate, that's okay. Though. I mean, there's other stuff gets in the way, doesn't it? Like I find it hard sometimes to nail down a few hours. Like, you know.
I've got a wedding coming up in a couple of weeks, and I have to learn the Ed Sheeran "Perfect" song.
Right.
You know, I hate doing covers at the best of times, but you know, whatever. It's a special wish for a special friend, and I still haven't even looked at it. You know.
Oh, mate, 2 weeks, you say? You know, yeah. Come on, you need to get on that now, Rod. Take this seriously.
I know. So
you're gonna get a ginger wig as well, so people don't notice if you get the words wrong.
Yeah, something like that. But no, I love writing songs. And when I'm in the mood, I'll pick up the guitar and I'll just strum. And the latest recording sessions have been a little bit different insofar I'm working with a producer, and a couple of songs we've really just done off the cuff. So on purpose, not gone in with any ideas. And this is a really, really great way to make music. You know,
yeah, I can imagine.
I love doing it. Yeah.
That seems very
3 days in the studio.
Yeah, it's quite stripped back, that, isn't it? Like it's a proper sort of primal experience. Just go in and see what comes out.
Yeah,
love that.
You know, normally I'll write a song, I'll chart it, I'll write all the lyrics, I'll have it all set out, and then pretty much prepared go into a studio and say, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I guess I've kind of been taught that way too, to be prepared, you know, when it comes down to money and that sort of thing. I guess you've got to be prepared in the studio. But so this is just a new fun way of creating music.
Yeah, but it's good. I don't think I'd be able to do that because most of my songs end up having about like 1,000 words or something. I spend quite a while writing them. I don't know how well I'd be able to do it off the cuff, but I think that's maybe what your style of music affords you, though, as well, is that you can have like a 3-4 minute track where all you really need is, short verse, short chorus, and you can build a whole song on that. And sorry, go on.
And I was going to say, I still struggle with the same thing.
Right.
So it's not like I can just sit there and start singing and stuff and it makes sense. I really have to think about it, and in effect the same. I have to concentrate on the lyrics, and so that's quite a. I know some guys are really talented at just coming up with stuff on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little bit envious of these people too, because
tell me about it.
Yeah, but no, I like to put lots of thoughts into the lyrics.
I can tell actually. Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. It's always quite emotive, but also like there's a real positivity in there all the time. I like it, man. I like your music. It's sort of it's quite, I don't know, it's quite calming, but it's also quite like, it's just quite emotive.
Yes,
I think it comes across.
I've got this, I don't know why, this inbuilt burning desire to write positive stuff. It's just, and even this last track, which comes out tomorrow, I went to my producer and I said, I just want to write another really fucking happy song.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Is that what comes out then if you just sit down and start thinking about writing a generic song? Does it generally tend to be positive? Because I'm like the opposite. When I sit down and start writing, it's always so depressing, and it's like it just comes out like all the worst stuff in the deepest pit of my mind. It ends up going on the page. So I'd like to see what it's like the other way around.
That's great stuff. When I was 26, I got really badly depressed for I don't know, about 18 months. So for me, music was my therapy, and exactly that. I would pour my heart and soul out in my lyrics, and there were songs like "Sad," "All the Same," really, really depressing songs. That part of the music really helped me to get through this stage of my life. Now I'm kind of thinking, if the music helped me, maybe in some way it can help others. I still have those thoughts, and when I'm writing songs, I still travel inward and go, I don't know. If I'm writing a lyric and it comes out, it's a sad day, I'll turn it around and I'll purposely write it's a happy day. So essentially just whatever's coming out is I'll turn it around and try and spin it in a positive lyric.
That's a good idea. That I might have to steal that, because I keep thinking I need to write something a bit happier.
There's also this thing. It's writing songs used to be about me. So I'm feeling bad, or I'm feeling sad, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
my second song was called "I'm Feeling Shit."
So I'm really trying to take that I'm out of it. So the me like aspect out of the songwriting as well, and just put a general. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it makes it relatable for listeners as well. People can hear your lyrics and go and see themselves in it.
Essentially, when I'm songwriting, I'm still feeling the same thing, but when I'm writing it down on paper, I'm editing it as I go, just to turn those few little aspects around. And it's not a great deal to turn around, but But once again, just this burning desire to write positive stuff. I guess there's other reasons now too. I've got a son. I think what's going on with the pandemic, climate change, all that sort of stuff. People aren't going to be any good to me if they're feeling down and out about this shit.
Yeah, you're right.
If I can motivate people to be positive, then they're going to be more active to then do something about climate change or about the pandemic, and it's going to make a better world for my son in the future.
Yeah, you're right,
in a kind of a weird selfish way,
I do the same, I think, and I try and, even when I do have sort of depressing lyrics, I usually at the end of my songs, I try and tie them together with a bit of positive note and a bit of hope out there. And I like to sort of say positive things when I'm on the mic, and I think it's similar. It's probably this urge to sort of just try and make the world a better place by doing these easy little things like being a bit positive, spreading a bit of positivity, and having good manners and things like that just make that little difference.
Exactly.
And hopefully build a better world like that.
The amount of times I turned up drunk on stage or terrible stuff. I did some terrible stuff in the past. But we've all been there, mate. We've all done it. But now it's a concerted effort to I'll have a beer after the gig type.
Yeah, man.
Thing.
You were toning for you.
Yeah. Funny story too. I wrote this song called "Don't Do This." You might have heard it. I'm not sure, but it's about climate change essentially and saving the world from climate change.
Yeah.
So here I am driving my diesel car all over Europe promoting this song about saving the world. It's kind of hypocritical.
Yeah. It's you always you always pick things like that out of your own music as well, don't you? You can see all the tiny little bits of hypocrisy and whatever that most people probably
a little bit
would never notice. But so I wanted to ask you about your time in England, because I heard you on the podcast talking to Plummy about that you've been on an amazing tour of the US.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've been to and he said he lived in England for a bit. So since I'm here, I wanted to pick your brain and see what your experience was.
Okay. Actually, I was only in England for 2.5 weeks, London.
Oh, right. Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see as much as I would have liked to. I did a bunch of open mics and I had one or two little gigs. Yeah, a couple of little gigs as well. But England, unfortunately, was a really short time. I found it pretty hard to get gigs in the UK, and especially in London. Look, any big city, it's hard to get gigs.
It does seem a bit of a closed shop at times with promoters, and the way it's all done here. Sometimes it's quite hard to even get a response.
I found it a little bit more difficult than for instance, the United States or somewhere like that. So it was just a little bit more difficult for me to make those contacts via Facebook or whatever, Reverb Nation or whatever I was using at the time.
So you need to come to the north of England next time, because it's miles better than London, no matter what anyone says.
Right? Yeah.
London's not really England. Anything south of Sheffield doesn't really count as England. That's just down south.
It's the same everywhere. You can't. It's very difficult to get a gig in Berlin, but here in the southern part of Germany, there's a million little towns. Each town's got a little pub or a little, culture event thing happening.
Right.
So there's 1,000 different opportunities, but the big cities are essentially oversaturated. Yeah. So
they are.
Definitely a trip to northern England would be awesome.
It's the nice part. And I think, to be honest, even in the smaller towns and stuff, you've got so many artists, and I wonder if that's something to do with it as well, like the scarcity of like touring artists, or the sort of abundance of them. In sort of like, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see statistics like country by country, kind of who the percentage of people that play instruments and.
Yeah. Germany's fantastic insofar as, I've played in Australia, I've played all through the United States. So Australia, you've got Melbourne, Sydney, Hobart. There's really, really not much in between. Melbourne's got a population of 5 million. Sydney's got 6 million. Very, very tough to play gigs in these bigger cities. The United States was kind of similar. I did a lot of driving. The only thing with the United States was I met a lot of great people and managed to book some pretty good shows and managed to get some people to come along to the shows as well, which is always difficult. But like I said, here in Germany, 10 minutes down the road is a different town with a couple of little pubs in it, and the opportunities and even financially, I guess you can almost make a living here. You're not going to get rich from playing music, but as an unknown independent artist, you can actually get by pretty well without having to do busking or open mics or actually playing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Proper gigs. Of course, you need all your own equipment because unlike Australia or unlike the venues anywhere else in the world, which all have their own PA systems or whatever, so you need your own equipment. But essentially you can go anywhere and everywhere in Germany and play a show.
That's great.
It's a really good. So for anyone who wants to tour, wants to look around, Germany is a great possibility.
I'd like to do some shows abroad. I might tap you up on that again because I do want to go back to Germany as well. I went to Hamburg on a stag do last year.
Okay.
Very cultured it was. And I liked it. I like the German vibe, to be honest. So I'd like to go back. Do you ever think about going back to Australia, or do you think you're in Germany for good now, especially with your son?
So my mum lives in Australia, in Tasmania, and the aim really was to get back there at least every year or every 2 years. Obviously, due to COVID now, I haven't been back for, I think this is the third year in a row. So the next possibility, I'll head back down.
Right.
At the moment.
They only let celebrities in at the moment, don't they?
It's crazy. But, At the moment, with COVID going on, there's no chance. There's no point flying for 24 hours and having to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. It's
crazy, isn't it? But we'll see what happens, I guess.
Everything's shut down at the moment as well, so it's almost impossible to plan. If I were to head back to Australia, I'd kind of do like 5 or 6 shows as well.
That's cool.
So that option is out at the moment as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting. I'm hoping everything will get back to normal.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first time that you were on here was the first time that an artist had debuted a single on the NAS podcast, and it's been done again since, but I don't think anyone's done it twice, but we're going to do it again, aren't we? So you told us earlier on you've got a single out tomorrow. Exciting. Tell us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes out tomorrow. I'm a little bit excited about it. I hooked up with my producer friend in Germany and pretty much just did it off the cuff. So the song we had I guess we had an idea that we wanted to do something really positive, a little bit up tempo and that sort of thing. The song itself is called "Feeling Alive," and it's essentially about that. It's really about feeling alive right now. I guess once again with the COVID scenario, climate change, sometimes everything can get really kind of crammed in and to be straightforward, I guess things can get a little bit depressing. So I really wanted to create something, in the veins of I guess, I don't really want to say mental health, but yeah, to make people feel good. So the song came about in pretty much in 3 days. We started making a little bit of music and I kind of said, geez, I like this chord progression. I like the way it's sounding. So essentially I sat down and started writing lyrics and my producer kept working on the music. And by the third day, we pretty much had everything down and did a vocal. Kind of just come up with it like that,
That's
but
awesome,
essentially, it's a good feeling song. It's about being positive. It's just about being happy. Not much else really.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. Well, let's give it a listen then. Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah. This is "Feeling Alive" by Rod Fritz, played for the first time on NAS.
Look at the sunshine. How can you be so stuck on the inside? Take my hand if you feeling low and you can't see the light. Just look outside. I don't care if you don't want to dance to the song this lost in the downtime. We just have one life. Let the world spin around, hold it down when you hear this sound. Let me be what you want, what you need when you're feeling down. Hey now, feeling alive right now. Hey now, feeling alive right now. Take a deep breath now. This life won't last forever. We're gonna somehow write a new song together. Let me be what you want, what you need when you're feeling down. I don't care if you don't wanna dance to the song right now. Hey now, feeling alive 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 right now.
Yeah, amazing track, Roz. Absolutely love it. I love that what you're saying as well about the feeling alive. It certainly comes across in the track. So yeah, thanks for letting us play that, and people can stream it from tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. On Spotify. So, you know, and yeah, Deezer and all that sort of jazz as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thanks for spinning it too. It's great.
Mate, the pleasure is all ours.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you seem to me like an artist who just keeps releasing quality track after quality track. Like you've got 3 albums out, is that right? You've got,
Yeah.
I don't know
think
how
this is
many,
gonna
but
be
maybe
the
40, 50 singles total on Spotify, or?
Yeah, about that. I'm not sure myself.
Yeah. Do you have anything in reserve, or is everything out there?
Everything's pretty much currently out there. I've got some more ideas, and really, I think I'm really keen to go back to basics and maybe do a solo acoustic guitar album. So
Nice.
just
Without vocals,
you
you mean?
Oh no, with vocals. So
Right, okay.
just songs on acoustic guitar. Maybe add a bit of bass or it's a slight bit of percussion,
Mhm.
but essentially take a step back from, I guess, the poppy
The full production.
type of feel the full production that I'm doing at the moment. So really,
It does sound great though. So you said you just started working with the producer then. Previously, have you been producing your own stuff, or do you get somebody else to do the mixing, or?
pretty much done it myself, and essentially with live bands. So I've had a couple of bands, recorded 2 albums with bands. The last album I did in 2014 before I left for the United States and Europe was pretty much session musos. And yeah, I guess I would just sit in the studio and say, hey, here's the song. Let's build up something around this. And either say, yeah, I like it, or I don't like it, or can you try this, or can you try that?
That's cool,
so
man.
I guess essentially taking on more of the producer type role in those albums, which was a lot of fun. Also a lot of hard work. Equally as nice now, where you can go to some guy and, what are your thoughts? What would you like to, what do you
I'm envious in a way because I can't wait to Well, I mean, I've been doing this for 2 years, and I look back, and each single is a lot of memories tied to it. You know, it's like a stamp in time almost. So the fact that you've got like 10 plus years behind you must be really cool for you to. Do you ever take stock and reflect and just think, you know, and you see where you were at different stages of your life with each track, and do you give yourself a pat on the back and for where you've got to? Do you take a lot of pleasure in that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sometimes a little bit critical, you know, and think, geez, I could have done some things a little bit better with the music side, well, with a lot of things, but music for now, you know. At the same time, some things bring back great memories. No, I guess really I try not to think about the past too much. It's more about what I'm going to do next, which is kind of interesting too, because I don't know what's going to happen next. You know?
Yeah, and that is probably that mentality that's got you to, you know, however many tracks it is you've got now, because you're not just going to release one and then start worrying and go and just quit. It's more like, I imagine when you finish one and release one, you've already got the next 3 or 4 ideas lined up, or you've got this and that to concentrate on. And probably, how do you find like time management? Because being an artist isn't just playing, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Being a live artist is even worse, because you end up being a travel agent, booking agent, you know, sound engineer, the whole thing.
It's a whole kit and caboodle.
The actual playing music is like 10%. I hate sitting on the computer. I hate sitting on the computer and writing emails. You know, can I play at your venue, sort of thing. I don't know if did you get a chance to listen to that Independent Musician, which is kind of, you might. I had it up for a few weeks. But it's a
can't remember.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, but it's essentially a story about exactly that. About being an independent musician and the difficulties and the amount of work that goes into it. I would obviously love to have.
Is it not up anymore?
It's still on Spotify.
Oh, right, I'm gonna have a listen to it. Yeah. Sound. I have listened to a lot of your stuff in the last 24 hours. I had you on for shuffle. It's so good, man. I like it.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff in there. And then there's a few little bits of your stuff as well that I recognise. That just you know, the opening chord. I'm rubbish for track names, but the one that's like do do do. Mate, I've got a sore throat. That was awful.
Oh.
Something.
Is it a recent track?
I think it's 3 words. Something to give.
Something to give.
Yeah, something to give.
Okay, something to give.
Yeah, it's class, mate. I really like that one.
Yeah.
That's like, I hear it all the time, but I never actually look at track names. But
I just have a lot of fun. I just have I don't think about it too much. I just have a lot of fun making music. You know, I guess I try not to peg myself into a genre. There's a little bit of country, a little bit of rock, a little bit of pop in there. So essentially, whatever feels good at the time. There's no method to the songwriting. I don't have a method. So a melody will pop into my head, or I'm tinkering on the guitar, and something will sound good, or you know, it's I don't know. Well, I am actually pretty lazy. All this stuff just happens around me without giving it too much thought. Funnily enough.
Yeah, that's mad. I mean, you must have a talent for that. Then you must have a natural aptitude for being able to craft whole songs. Because you know, a lot of people will play guitar and noodle around and come up with a few riffs, but then they'll never actually like come up with finished songs and then release them. But because you're doing that, you must just have a natural leaning towards, this is what I want to do with my music. There is a
little bit of science as well in with that, and probably a little bit of advice for everyone, really, if they want to take it or not. But in this day and age, with the way listening to music has changed, a lot of people are listening to it on Spotify. You know, I look at my nephews, and he's bragging he's got 30,000 songs on his iPad or whatever. I think 30,000 songs. You know, you're never going to listen to it. And most of the time, they get to 30 seconds or 45 seconds, and they're going to skip to the next song.
Yeah.
essentially it's what I'm finding with the younger. I mean, look at TikTok, 15-second videos. So the attention span is getting shorter and shorter. And I'm trying to incorporate that into my songwriting as well. So whilst I say I don't give it much thought and things just happen naturally, I'm also realizing that after 30 seconds or 20 seconds, I need to make a change in the music or a change in the melody. But essentially, when I'm producing a song, I guess it's more production side, is to have that change after 30 seconds. So whatever it might be, once again, different melody, different chord progression, different drumming, but essentially to try and keep the listener interested.
Yeah, that's good. That's solid.
Again, yeah, it's just the trend of music listeners today.
It's interesting. Can we expect, Lane, then maybe will you do like an album of songs that that all the songs are below 30 seconds? That'd be good.
I don't think you get paid if your song's under 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of hassle for not much reward.
I got to get my 0.33 cent for each play, you know.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, I need the Spotify Gold.
Oh, you know, 1 cent for three streams.
Yeah, amazing.
However, having said that, you make a song 31 seconds, and essentially you're going to get a lot more streams than if you make a song 7 minutes. I guess, I don't know. Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, people can listen to it hundreds of times in a day instead of just 100. But
yes,
only if they've got nothing better to do, I guess.
Yeah. Once again, that's a very individualized approach with the songwriting. I mean, each to their own. You know, some people want to write Bohemian Rhapsody or whatever. You know, go for it. Like
definitely go for it.
That's a great thing too. You know,
yeah, I was brought up on prog music, so a lot of my stuff my dad listens to. 14-minute guitar solos and.
Yes, there's some great stuff coming out now too. You know, I'm listening to Andre's.
It's amazing.
Man, you know, there's some really good music out there.
Yeah, there's some real high quality on the playlists. It makes me want to up my game as well. Yeah.
And back to that whole NAS thing, I think really, you know, whilst it's not just a community, it is a community of people, but you know, the music is just good. Like people outside of NAS should be getting into that sort of stuff because you've got diversity, variety, and there's some great music out there. There's a really good playlists.
Yeah. Loads of good stuff. So what can we expect next then from Rod Fritz?
Planning for the future. Yeah, I've given up on planning for the future. You know, had you have asked me 12 months ago what my next step is, you know, I wouldn't have said, you know, I'm sitting here with a 10-week-old baby.
Yeah, crazy.
You know what I mean? I don't know what the future holds. Really, I'm kind of bringing it. You know, same. You can plan for stuff, but it never happens. You know, 2 years ago, I planned to do a whole bunch of festivals, and then COVID hit. Or planned to go for a trip back to Australia, and then all of a sudden you got COVID. I guess the baby wasn't really planned either. You know,
you're right. No, anything can be around the corner. You just never know.
I like life like that. I really enjoy living life like that. I've learned a long time ago not to say no. When I was younger, you know, people would say, "Oh, come and do this on the weekend," or "Come and do that," and I'd be like, "No, I can't be bothered." And I really made a concerted effort to start saying yes, and not yes to everything. If it's going to be detrimental, then of course no. But I discovered so many great things by just saying yes. You know, I met total random strangers in the US. He said, "Oh, come and stay with us," and yeah, okay. You know, I ended up fishing in New York Harbor, for instance, on a boat.
Right, amazing.
Just did some incredible things. Just that simple thing. It's so easy to say no, but make a little bit of effort to say yes, and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's around that corner.
I like it. Again, the positivity. I think it radiates through everything you do. So I do look forward to seeing what does come in the future, even if it's just more excited phone calls about poo.
Yeah. Yeah. Never been so happy about someone taking a dump before.
Yeah.
But seriously, great, it's like that. I'm writing the missus. Oh, did you do a crap today? Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah. That's it, man. Yeah, you're invested.
Yeah.
So it must be amazing. Okay, well, it's been amazing to meet you. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate that we've got the chance to do this. And before we go, if you just tell anyone where's the best place to find you on social media and the internet and in person.
Absolutely. I guess I'm a little bit of an internet. I don't know what the right word is. I've got to be careful here, but if you Google Rod Fritz, you'll find
sensation.
It. No, I was going to say like internet slut or something.
Right. Yeah.
But, yeah. I've spent a lot of time over the internet over the years. Had too much time on my hands. But essentially, yeah, just Google Rod Fritz. Obviously the usual places: Spotify, Deezer. Got my own website, rodfritz.com. If you end up with some older looking guy who lives in Boston, you've got the wrong Rod Fritz.
Have you got a vendetta against him? Or?
Oh no, not at all. He was just my number two competition, right. I guess.
Yeah. You need to get rid of him. There's somebody else who's got at Wilco Wilkes on Instagram, and it really annoys me. They've not used the account for like 7 or 8 years or something. And somebody's got it on. I think it might be YouTube. There's somebody else. It's like it says it Wilco Wilkes, and it's like a bus travel channel. He just goes around on buses and like films the bus journey. But never mind.
Some dude's doing some really, really weird stuff out there, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a new thing, really, isn't it? With the internet, that you can Google your own name and like see other people with the same name.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Good idea for new upcoming artists. Google your name before you pick it.
Yes, very good piece of advice. That because my actual name, there's another artist called that, so that's why I went with Wilco Wilkes. But well, it's not really the only reason. But you're right. I've seen a few bands kind of. Well, I've seen that on Spotify as well. If you've seen it, when bands have the same name and the accounts get merged, so you'll have like some heavy rock band that's also got like Spanish violin music, and they're just merged together. Yeah, pick a name that nobody else has. But right. Anyway, we've gone a little bit off piece there, but it has been brilliant to meet you. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody listening at home as well, and all the community, everybody who's listening to the playlist, supporting the artists, and doing everything else that we all do for New Artist Spotlight. It's all appreciated. And for me and Rod, we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Wilco, thanks so much for having me on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really hope we get the chance to talk a little bit more at some point down the road. And everyone for tuning in. Check out some artists on NAS. There's some really good stuff on there.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I hope we do this again as well. Great to meet you. So thank you very much.
Thanks, buddy.